Let's move on to our battle number 6. The first team leader being the Mythical Mermaids, led by Mizusuta, playing for the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. Currently 10th place at an even 3-3, looking to increase that record even more. Having some really good weeks and some weeks where unfortunately they weren't able to pick up the wins, but they are looking to get more consistent for sure. Um, yeah, yeah. Anyway, the Oyamana's team being the Dragapult at 5-3, and the Great Tusk at 0-2. Great Tusk, unfortunately, not being able to pick up many knockouts, but any knockouts, but it has been doing some pretty good damage here. Um, so we'll see if it is able to do anything in the future. We see the Yu Yaman's team being that Mimikyu at 3-4, and the Noivern at 4-4. Really good Pokemon here. Just unfortunately hasn't been able to get too many knockouts to their names. The Aryumans being that Cloyster being such a strong Pokemon at 5-2, able to set up Shell Smashes and like be hard to counter at that point. The Roserade and the Miss Magius each at 0-1, unfortunately. I remember that Roserade though putting in a lot of work against, I think it was the cross-branded brawlers. That Roserade, um, yeah, Roserade able to put in a lot of work. Just unfortunately wasn't able to get any knockouts there. The Enumons being the Vaporeon at 0-2, the Snorlax as well at 0-2, and the Hitmontop at 2-3. Hitmontop has been a really good Pokemon for this team as well. That Boostio, just unfortunately not able to get too many knockouts either. The Piyumons in this team being the Leafeon at 3-3, the Vikavolt at 0-1, Rotom Frost at 0-1, and Claydol 0-0, and Claydol at 0-1. I don't know words apparently, but their opponent for this week, the Brandon Bayleefs, led by Brody Ring, playing for the Wild Foundation. Currently 5th place at 4-2. Unfortunately suffering a couple of losses, but looking to recover from those losses against myself and the Goldenrod Goldangos. Looking to recover. The Oyamans, this team, being that Ursaluna, which had such a good strategy, I think it was last week, but just was hard countered by that Porygon. We see the Hatterene at 3-1. The Yuyamans, this team, being that Primarina at 4-1, and the Rotom Heat leading this team in KOs at 8-3. Even though the Rotom might be leading the team, the rest of the team has also been putting in some work too. Like this Metagross, the RU Metagross at 2-4. The Splasmodove is at 0-1, and the Flygon is at 3-2. The Enumons of this team, being the Chansey and the Gigalith, each are at 1-3, and the Bombardier is unfortunately at 0-1. Chansey has not been able to put in as much work as it did in the PCL. Maybe it's just because people are expecting it this time around, but it is definitely a Pokemon that I personally don't like, but also is something to be scared of. The Piyumons of this team being the Dodrio at 3-1, the Poliwrath at 3-0, with the Shedinja and the Eldegoss having not shown their face yet. I do really love Eldegoss though, so I hope that Eldegoss can make an appearance, because Eldegoss is such a good boy. I love it. I had Eldegoss on my PCL team, and it was honestly fantastic. But let's see the starting lineups. Let's see the starting lineups of these two teams. We see the Mythical Mermaids with the Miss Maggie is coming back. We do see the Cloyster making an appearance again. Why wouldn't it? Cloyster's so good. We see the Dragapult coming back, the Vaporeon, the Rotom Frost making its first appearance, and the Hitmontop Boostio showing up as well. We also, from the Brandon Bayleefs, we do see the Gigalith, the Hatterene coming back, the Rotom Heat, the Flygon, and the Eldegoss is here. The boy has shown up, and we see the Metagross coming back as well. Eldegoss is my boy. All right, let's see starting Pokemon of these two teams and get started with battle number 6. The Mythical Mermaids leading with the Cloyster this time, with the Brandon Bayleefs leading with the Gigalith. Cloyster going for an immediate Shell Smash right away. And the Gigalith going for the Rock Blast, hitting once, twice, 3 times. Does it hit 4 times? It does not hit 4 times. The Cloyster only at 2% HP now, but the Protect comes through from the Gigalith to guarantee that this Cloyster will fall from the Sandstorm. The Vaporeon then comes in, and they're setting up a Toxic right into that Gigalith, with the Toxic coming back through to the Vaporeon. Both of the Pokemon on the field being poisoned now. Immediate swap from the Gigalith into the Eldegoss, though. The Scald coming through, of course, a resisted hit, but it does burn the Eldegoss, but the Cotton Down ability does drop the speed of the Vaporeon. Vaporeon switches right into that Dragapult, with the Leaf Seed coming through the Leaf Seed strat. Yes, the Leaf Seed is going to give the recovery to this Eldegoss. The Eldegoss does switch, though, into the Metagross with the Draco Meteor. The Draco Meteor, of course, being a resistant hit. Good prediction from the Brandon Bayleefs. Leaf Seed doing a little bit more chip damage and a little bit of recovery to the Metagross. The Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball doesn't do too much because of the drop special attack from the Dragapult, with the Zen Headbutt taking down to 5% HP, but the Leaf Seed will be enough to drop the Dragapult. Mismagius then comes in, and the curse is laid onto this Metagross. But the Zen Headbutt is enough to take down this Mismagius, though the Metagross is now on a timer. Only two more turns until this thing is taken down completely. Vaporeon then comes back in. Metagross goes back into the Eldegoss, with the Wish coming through from the Vaporeon. The Vaporeon switches into that Rotom Frost, though, and the Giga Drain coming through, doing a little bit of damage to the Rotom, but not too much. The Wish, of course, is going to connect to the Rotom to heal it back to full HP. Eldegoss gets scared out into its own Rotom. The battle of the Rotoms. The Blizzard, though, is going to do nothing to the Fire type, with the Hitmontop coming in to replace the Rotom Frost, with the Trick coming through from the Rotom to give a Choice Scarf to the Hitmontop, which is a little bit scary, I would say. A Choice Scarf Hitmontop is kind of scary. The Volt Switch coming in from the Rotom after it got hit by a close combat, with the Hatterene coming in. A really good play, because now it's locked into close combat. The Vaporeon switches into the Trick Rooming Hatterene, and the Psychic does some good damage to this Vaporeon, but not quite enough. The Toxic is going to get bounced back because of the Magic Bounce. The Hatterene staying alive and unhurt by that. To protect the unhurt from the Toxic, I should say. The Protect coming through from the Vaporeon is able to protect it from the Psychic. The Trick Room is staying up, though. The switch from the Vaporeon into the Rotom Frost, with another Psychic doing so much damage to this Rotom Frost. Rotom just has to stay in and take the death, unfortunately. The Rotom Frost falling to the Hatterene. The Trick Room is going to wear off now, though. Hitmontop then comes back in. And a Bullet Punch connecting, doing some decent damage, but not quite enough, with a Psychic able to take down this Hitmontop. Vaporeon then comes in, with a Scald outspeeding, doesn't take down the Hatterene though, but the Psychic will. However, the Hatterene does fall to the Life Orb, so it is not a 6-0 sweep from the Brandon Bayleefs, but it might as well could be. But the Brandon Bayleefs does have one knocked out Pokemon. I don't know what I'm saying. almost a 6-0 sweep, but it is not. The Mythical Mermaids having a pretty good showing, just unfortunately the Brandon Bayleefs was able to predict just that much better this time around.